Hello guys, Unabridged here, and today we're going to be continuing The Tale of Emily Windsnap by Liz Kessler. Forgive any background noise, it's the kitten, Salem. She's currently pouncing on plastic bags and bouncing around the room. So, Chapter 6. Shona, we've got to get out of here, I pulled at her hand. My fingers shook. But don't you want to? We have to get away. What is it? I don't know. Something's not right. Please, Shona. She looked at my face, and for a moment I saw shock or recognition. Come on, she said. We didn't speak as we slithered back down the narrow corridor in silence, Shona following as I raced ahead. I swam in such a panic that I went straight past the broken porthole and almost all the way to the other end of the boat. I turned and was about to start swimming back when Shona tugged at my arm. Look, she said, pointing at the floor. What? Can't you see it? I looked closer and noticed a shiny selection of wood. A shiny section of wood, newer than the other floorboards, the size of a manhole. It had a handle on it shaped like a giant pair of pliers. Shona pulled at the trap door. Give me a hand. Shona, I've got a really weird feeling about all this. We really have to. Just a quick look, please. Then we'll go, I promise. Reluctantly, I pulled at the handle with her, flipping my tail to propel myself backwards. Seconds later, it creaked open. A swarm of tiny fish darted out from the gape, shimmering in a flash of silver before disappearing down the corridor. Shona flipped herself upside down and poked her head into the hole, swishing her tail into my face. What can you see? I asked. It's a tunnel. Shona flipped back up and grabbed my hand. Have a look. But you said we could. 5 minutes, she said, and she disappeared down the hole. As soon as we got into the tunnel, the golden light virtually disappeared, just tiny rays peeping through the odd crack. We felt our way along the sides, which wasn't exactly pleasant. Slimy, rubbery things lined the walls. I decided not to think about what they might be. An occasional fish passed by in the shadows, slow and solitary. The silence seemed to deepen. Inside it, my unease grew and grew. How could it be the same? How could it? Look, Shona's voice echoed in front of me. I peered ahead. We'd reached another door facing at us at the end of the tunnel. Locked, Shona said quietly. Hey, but look at... Suddenly, a luminous fish with huge, wide-open jaws sprang out of the darkness, almost swimming into my face. I screamed and grabbed Shona's arms. I'm getting out of here. I burst out, forgetting about the ballroom, the slimy, rubbery walls, the trapdoor. All that mattered was getting away from that ship. We sat on Rainbow Rocks, low down by the water's edge, out of sight from the coast. Water lapped gently against the stones. Shona's tail glistened in the chilly light. Mine had disappeared again, and I rubbed my goose-pimply legs dry with my jacket. Shona stared, as she obviously found the transformation as weird as I did. Do you want to tell me what that all was about? She broke the silence. What? What happened to you back there? I threw a pebble into the water and watched it circle around and grow bigger and wider until it disappeared. I can't. You don't want to? No, I mean, I really actually can't. I don't know what it's about myself. Shona fell quiet again. I understand. If you don't trust me, she said after a while. I mean, it's not like I'm your best friend or anything. I haven't got a best friend. Me either, Shona smiled a bit, her tail flapping on the rocks as she spoke. Then we fell quiet again. It's not that I don't trust you, I said after a while. I do, it's just, well, you would think I'm crazy. Of course I wouldn't, apart from the fact that you're a half-human, a human half the time and a mermaid who sneaks out to play at night. I haven't met anyone as normal as you in ages. I smiled. Come on, try me, she said. So I did. I told her everything. I told her about swimming lessons and Mystic Millie and about Mom's dream and the ship being exact the same. I even told her about seeing Mr. Beeston on my way home that first night. Once I started letting things out, I couldn't seem to stop. When I finished, Shona stared at me without speaking. What? She looked away. What? I don't want to say anything. You might get bad, like last time. What do you mean? Do you know something? You've got to tell me. Shona shook her head. I don't know anything for sure, but do you remember when we first met and I thought I'd heard your name before? You said you'd got it wrong. I know, but I don't think I did. You had heard it? She nodded. I think so. Where? It was at school. At school? I think it was in a book. I never knew if it was true or just an ocean myth. We studied it in history. Studied what in history? Shona paused before saying in a quiet voice, illegal marriages. Illegal? You mean between mer people and humans? I tried to take her in her words. What she was trying to say, what was she trying to tell me? That my parents, there'll be something in the library at school. Let's go back. Shona slid down off her rock. I thought you'd finish at lunchtime on Saturdays. There are clubs and practices and stuff in the afternoon. Come on, I'm sure we can find out more. I slipped into the water and followed her back to the mermaid school, my thoughts as tangled as a heap of washed-up nets. Back through the hole in the rock, back along the caves and tunnels and tubes, until we came to a school playground. It was empty. This way, Shona pointed to a rocky sculpture, standing on its own, spiral-shaped and full of giant holes and crevices. We swam inside through a thick crack and slithered up through the swirls, coming out into a circular room with jagged, rocky edges. A few mer girls and boys on mushroom-shaped spongy seats in front of long pieces of scratchy paper that hung from the ceiling. They wound the paper up or down, silently moving their heads from side to side as they examined the sheets. What are they doing? I whispered. Shona gaped at me. Reading. What do you think they're doing? I shrugged. Where are the books? It's easier to find stuff on scrolls. Come on, I'll show you where everything's stored. She led me to the opposite side of the room and swam up to the ceiling. We looked through different headings at the top of each scroll. Shipwrecks, treasures, fishermen, sirens. Sirens, it might be this one, Shona said, pulling on the end of a thick roll. Give me a hand. We pulled the scroll down to the floor, hooked it in a place on a roller, and then wound an old rodent handle around and around, working our way through facts and figures, dates and events, stories about mermaids luring fishermen into the ocean, with songs so beautiful they were almost impossible to hear, of fishermen going mad, throwing themselves into the ocean to follow their heart's desires, mermaids winning praise and riches for their success, ships brought down. We searched the whole scroll. Nothing about illegal marriages. We'll never find anything, I said. I don't even know what we're looking for. Shona was swimming around above me. There must be something, she muttered. Why is it so illegal anyway? Why can't people marry who they want? It's the one thing that makes Neptune really angry. Some say it's because he once married a human and then she left him. Neptune's married? I swam up to join her. Oh, he's got loads of wives and hundreds of children, but this one was special, and he's never forgiven her, or the rest of the human race. Shona Silkfin, what are you doing here? A voice boomed from behind us. We both spun around to see someone swimming towards us. The history teacher. Oh, Mrs. Tailspin. Shona was just trying to help me with my homework, I said with an innocent smile. Homework? Mrs. Tailspin looked at us doubtfully. At my school in Shallowpool. Shona said quickly, my aunt and uncle live there. That's where she's from. And I'm supposed to do a project on illegal marriages, I continued as an idea came to me. Maybe the teacher would know something. After all, Shona did say she heard my name in a history lesson. Shona said that she'd studied them. She was trying to help me. Mrs. Tailspin swam down to the mushroomy, spongy seat and beckoned us to do the same. What do you want to know? I paused, glancing at Shona. What did I want to know? And did I want to know at all? Emily's doing her project on Shiprock, Shona said, picking up my thread. That's why she's here. We need to find out if there have been any illegal marriages around here. Indeed, there have been. Indeed, there has been one, Mrs. Tailspin said, patting the bun on her head. Rather a well-known incident. Do you remember, Shona? We covered it last term, she frowned. Or were you too busy daydreaming at the time? Can you tell me about it? I asked. Mrs. Tailspin turned back to me. Very well. I tried to keep still on my sponge while I waited for her to carry on. A group of humans once found out a little too much about the merfolk world, she began. There had been a yacht race nearby, and a couple of boats went off course and capsized. Some merman found them and helped them. They had to have their memories wiped afterwards, she paused, but one was missed. And? and she didn't forget. Word spread both in her world and our own. They started meeting up, humans and merfolk. At one point, there was talk of them all going off to a desert island to live together. The rumor was that a deserted island to live together. The rumor was that there was even a place where it was already happening. Really? Shona said. Like I said, it was a rumor. I don't believe for one moment that it existed, or for that matter, exists. But they keep meeting, and as I'm sure you can imagine, Neptune. Yes, Salem? Did you come to make a proclamation? Are you gonna... I'll be back. Alright, let's continue. Sorry about that. Like I said, it was a rumor. I don't believe for one moment that it existed, or for that matter, exists. But they keep meeting, as I'm sure you can imagine. Neptune was not pleased. What happened? I asked. There were storms for weeks. He said that if he ever caught anyone consorting with a human, they would be imprisoned for life. He visited every merfolk area personally. He hardly ever does that, Shona said. He always stays in his main palace, except when he goes on exotic vacations or visits his other palaces. He's got them all over the world, doesn't he? That's right, Shona. So, he came to Shiprock, I asked. He did indeed. Shona bounced off her seat. Did you meet him? Mrs. Tailspin nodded. Really, what's he like? Angry, loud, covered in gold, but with a certain charisma. Wow, Shona gazed at Mrs. Tailspin. The preparation took weeks, she continued. As you know, Neptune can become most unhappy if he is not presented with adequate jewels and crystals when he visits. Our merfolk went on daily searches under the rocks. We made him a new scepter as a present. Was he pleased? Very. He gave the town a dolphin as a thank you. So, did the meeting stop, I asked, between the merpeople and the humans? Sadly, no. They continued to meet in secret. I don't know how they lived with themselves defying Neptune like that. And the marriage? I asked, holding my breath. Yes, there was a merman, a poet, Jake. He married one of the women at Rainbow Rocks. Something stirred in the back of my mind. Thoughts that I couldn't quite grasp, like bubbles that burst as soon as you touched them. Shona didn't look at me. What was his last name? She asked, her voice jagged like the library walls. Mrs. Tailspin patted her bun again. Tutted, squinted. Whirlstand, Windchamp, Wisplash? No, I can't remember. Looking down, I closed my eyes. Was it Windsnap? I asked. Windsnap. Salem. Yes, Bean? Yes, sweet child? Did you just come to check on me? Or command me to do something? I have no idea. I'm in the middle of something serious, baby. No, do not, no. Absolutely not. Do not even think about it. Don't even pretend you didn't think about that. Windsnap. Yes, that might have been it. The bubbles turned to rocks and started clogging up my throat. And they had a daughter, she continued. That was when they were caught. When exactly was this? I managed to squeeze out. Let's see, 12 or 13 years ago. I nodded, not trusting myself to speak. Gave themselves away with that. The silly woman brought the child to Rainbow Rocks, and that was when we got him. Got him? What did they do to him? Shona asked. Prison, Mrs. Tailspin said with a proud smile. Neptune decided to make an example of him. He said Jake would be locked up for life. What about the baby? I asked, swallowing hard, while I waited for her reply. Baby, goodness knows, but we stopped that one. Mrs. Tailspin smiled again. That's what you'll be doing when you're a siren, Shona. You'll be as good as that. Shona reddened. I haven't completely decided. I haven't completely decided what I want to be yet, she said. Very well. Mrs. Tailspin glanced around the room. More girls and boys were still reading. Some were talking quietly in groups. Now, girls, if there's nothing else, I must check out on my library group. Yes, thanks, I managed to say. I don't know how. We sat in silence after she'd gone. It's me, isn't it? I said eventually, staring ahead of me at nothing. Do you want it to be? I don't know what I want. I don't even know who I am anymore. Shona swam in front of me and made me look at her. Emily, maybe we can find out more. He's alive. He's out there somewhere. Yeah, in prison for life. But at least he didn't want to leave you. Perhaps he still thought about me. Perhaps I could find out more. I think we should go back to the shipwreck, Shona said. What? No way. Think about it. Your mom's dream, what Mrs. Tailspin said in the lesson. They might have gone there together. Maybe she was right. I didn't have any better idea. I'll think about it, I said. Give me a few days. Wednesday, then? Okay. Look, I'd better be heading back. I slithered over the spiral tube. Will you be all right? Yeah, I tried to smile. Would I? That was anyone's guess. I swam home through the silent water, my thoughts as crowded and unfathomable as the sea. Thanks for listening to Chapter 6 of The Tale of Emily Windsnap. All our socials are down below. There's the my EA game tag and all of my Wattpad and stuff and my other YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll make out. Peace.